I saw lots of players don't play Tekken because of Leroy. Because it's too strong. Maybe that character is John Wick. He's killing everyone.
Leroy is dumb. Now, I'm sure you've all heard that Leroy is pretty strong, but I've been asked multiple times on my stream to explain exactly why that is, so I thought I'd make a video going over all the moves that I think are a bit too much. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm going to talk about all his good moves, because if I did, I'd be here all day. So I will be missing a couple moves here and there, but don't worry about it, they're left out on purpose. So let's get on with it. Now, the first move I want to speak about is down back 1 and its extensions. Now, down back 1 is a 16 frame high crushing mid poke, which has two extensions. It has down back 1 3, the high, and a down back 1 1+2, the mid. Now, in this situation in Tekken generally, when you have a high and a mid like that from a string, the high is duckable and launchable, and the mid is punishable. Think about Katarina down 4-2-4, which is the high, you duck it, and down 4-2-2, which is the mix-up, is if your opponent ducks, it's actually punishable, right? So that's what usually happens in Tekken. But in this case, down back 1-3 is duckable, but the down back 1 1+2 is a mid, and it's safe. It's -9, which is absolutely ridiculous. Because the fact that it's so abusable, and you can't even get a counter hit that easily on the down back 1 because it will go underneath magic 4s. It's a high crush. Look at this. I mean, I do highs and they will be completely crushed. You know, I'm trying to jab there. I'm trying to go for a 4. Like, it will just be crushed. So it's so safe. It's such a low risk, and you'll get a high reward from it because, you know, if your opponent does actually press a button and gets counter hit, it's a counter hit launcher. You get a free combo on the second hit. Just dash up, down 3-2, and easy combo there. Does so much damage. So why not just throw it out? There's no risk to it at all. Now, the next move I want to talk about is one of the best lows in the game now, down 3-2. Now, down 3-2 is a +8 natural combo low 2-hit string, which puts him into the hermit stance, and from here, you know, you have so much frame advantage that it's pretty much a mix-up. You know, you can go for the low, you can go for a mids, like multiple mids, and this hermit stance 1 is like an inbuilt parry into it as well. It's such a good low, but the reason why I think it's stupid is not because of its damage or its plus frames or the fact that you go into stance. It's the fact that its tracking is so good. Have a look at this. Sidewalk left doesn't work. Sidestep left doesn't work. Sidestep right. And sidewalk right. So it has really good tracking to both sides. Now, it is capable of sidewalking right at certain ranges, but it's, you know, like you can see, it's so hard to do. Like, so yeah, you can sidestep it, you can sidewalk at certain ranges, but I mean, it's just so hard to do, especially in game. Now, moves like this should, in my opinion, not be a thing where its tracking is so good. You know, you think about someone like Hwoarang, for example. So with Hwoarang, you can sidewalk left and right versus his down 3-4, which puts him into a very similar situation as Leroy's down 3-2. So something like Leroy's down 3-2 should not be able to have the tracking that it currently does have. Now, in my opinion, the reason why this is dumb is because of that tracking. As you saw, I tried to sidewalk left, I sidestep left, sidewalk right, sidestep right, and it just had such good tracking. I think that this should be a lot more linear than it currently is. If you think about someone like Hwoarang, who has that down 3-4, and that down 3-4 is quite similar to Leroy's, but you can sidewalk it very easily to both directions, and I think that's what they need to do this move, because right now it's so abusable and really good. Now, the next move I want to talk about is forward 1+2. Forward 1+2 being a safe, hard-hitting mid, which is heavily abusable. I saw Ulsan on his stream, you know, he was laughing. He was playing against someone unranked and literally just abused this move. It's so good. I mean, for it to be safe as well, you normally don't see these kind of moves be safe, but, you know, it's safe. You know, look, -9, and look how far away it hits them as well. It's the capabilities of getting wall splats with this move is insane. It's so good, so abusable as a safe, hard-hitting mid. So I think that should be unsafe. I don't know. I mean, it's just one of those moves not a lot of people are talking about, but I've seen be used at high level quite effectively. So yeah, I mean, forward 1+2 is also pretty stupid in my opinion. However, the next move we want to talk about is down 1+2. Now this is a move which has caused a lot of controversy recently. The reason being because it's a move which on block leaves you at 0 neutral. Look at that. It leaves you neutral but in a full crouch state. Now, and it's a counter hit launcher as well, which we obviously can't forget about, and it gives you so much damage on counter hit. Now neutral in a full crouch state, look at that, 80 damage from an easy combo. Now it's so abusable. Being 0 on block it just can't happen. Reason being because if I try to press buttons after it, I'm gonna get counter hit. All of that will be guaranteed. Have a look what I do. If I try to go for whilst I need 4, all of that is guaranteed on me. With the 1/1 string, which we're gonna go into a little bit, is guaranteed. Now, being a counter hit launcher, being 0 on block, leaving you in full crouch, +6 on hit, it is way too abusable. This move, I've seen people literally just win rounds doing this one move, and it's too much. 80 damage on counter hit, please. This move needs to be changed. It should not be 0 on block if it's going to have the properties that it has. Now, I said we were going to talk about 1/1, 1+2, and here it is. 10 frame, easily hit confirmable string. You know, as soon as you see that, you know, it's hit confirmed, you have 1/1 and even the 1+2. So you have to press 1+2 twice, right? And you have all that time to confirm the last hit when you know that it's on counter hit. And the other thing is about this string is that it's not only on counter hit. If this second hit, which is a mid, if that hits, then the rest of it's guaranteed. So it's not even, it doesn't even need to be counter hit. I mean, think about it. Boom, boom, all of that. After the mid hits, everything else is a natural combo. This is so stupid because it's basically a safe confirm. It's so safe. You know, you think about someone like Lee, for example, with his 2-2-3. It's very similar, right? It's a wall splat, it's a knockdown 10 frame string, but at least with Lee, the 2-2 itself is punishable, so there's a mix up to it. You can punish the first hits, whereas here you can't really punish the first hits, man. You can confirm, and you got a lot of time to do so. So I don't know, you know, it's a string which I think is a little bit too good at the moment. Very abusable, and I've seen a lot of people abuse it online and even in matches in tournament offline too. So I think they need to make a change to the 1/1 and the way that move works. I think it's too good at the moment in my opinion. Now, before we move on, I just want to draw a quick comparison, right? Dragunov has a very similar situation than Leroy, where Leroy does down 1+2 into the 1/1 string. If you try to press while standing 4 after that on block, you're going to get counter hit. Dragunov has down 1 into 1-2-1, right? Have a look. If I try to do while standing 4, then I get counter hit for the full string 1-2-1. However, the situation is a bit different, right? The down 1 itself isn't a counter hit launcher like the way that Leroy's is, right? And the 1-2-1 itself is -14, and it's so much harder to hit confirm. So there is still risk involved with it, right? You get all that punish, you know, 14 frame punishes can be very damaging. And, you know, Dragunov has the same situation, but the reward isn't quite there like it is for Leroy. Leroy can literally do this, and if he gets a counter hit, it'll be a full launch, 80 damage, and you're still in the same position that Dragunov can put you in. And Dragunov is supposed to be one of the strongest characters right now at the moment, right? So, yeah, Leroy is definitely beats him in that department. Moving on to the next move, back 3. Now, back 3 is a normal hit launcher, 18 frames, you know, does quite a bit of damage on hit. And, you know, I'm not even doing like the max damage stuff. You know, 55 plus 13 is a lot of damage, man. 68 damage for this back 3 combo, and that's not even max damage. I could have got a lot more down forward ones in there, so it easily can do over 70 damage. Now for that, you know, it's a safe, it's high, so it can be ducked, but we're gonna go on a little bit later and show you why you don't want to be really ducking against Leroy. But this will be kind of used as a whiff punisher anyway, man, and I think for it to be safe and for it to be having that much range, it's quite abusable on block, especially when you take into account all the other stuff that Leroy has, like the parry and everything we're going to go into, why this move can be abused quite heavily with Leroy, and I've seen it be abused quite a bit. So, you know, back 3, it's yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not a big fan of it, man. Bit too much at the moment. Next move, forward forward 3. Now forward forward 3 is a long range homing high move, which knocks you down and gives you a full little mini combo on normal hit. Now this is also +1 on block. Now we've already spoke about the 10 frame 1+2 string, and you know, if your opponent tries to press any buttons after blocking forward forward 3, then you know, you're gonna be counter hit with that full string. So this move is very oppressive, but there's a reason why I've picked Brian in this situation. Now on some characters like Brian, about half the cast, or near about half the cast, Leroy gets a full combo from this plus on block homing long range move. Have a look. Now that is really silly. If you can get that much damage, 80 damage from a plus on block homing move with that much range, there is a serious problem that needs to go. I don't know if the mini combo needs to go so much, you know, being 48, and it is a high, so it can be ducked and launched, but we're gonna go on to the next move and show you why you really don't want to be ducking against Leroy at that mid-range. Now, why don't you want to be ducking against Leroy at that mid-range? Well, it's because of forward 2-2, a hard-hitting mid-string which can give you a combo on normal hit that is 83 damage with an easy combo. Ladies and lads, this move is a bit too much. And why is it too much? Well, it's because it's only -13 on block, which means that most characters in the game are only going to get a very small punish compared to the actual reward that Leroy gets. Not only that, but if you can space it, the pushback is crazy. I mean, that's the deepest hit, right? Look at the space between them. But you know, when your opponent is holding back, which most people will be doing in a game, I have been able to space this move out to such a degree that none of my opponent's moves were going to punish it. I mean, it can have such crazy pushback in this game. So I think that move certainly needs to be changed because the risk reward is so heavily in Leroy's favor here. It should be -14 at minimum, so that some characters can get a launch, or you know, other characters can get even beefier punishes on it. I think -14 would be fair, but if it was, you know, even higher, I wouldn't be against it. But definitely not -13. No way. This move is way too much at the moment. Moving on to the next move, which is down back 4. Now, I don't know if this move is too much, right? I've just added it in here because I'm not sure myself. But this move is certainly very good no matter what you think. It is a high crushing low, which is was unseeable high crushing low, which on counter hit will give you a little mini combo. Now, the reason why I put it in there is because this move has got me out of so many sticky situations so many times. I've been able to hit it on counter hit quite successfully because of its high crushing properties. It goes under a lot of moves that your opponents are going to be throwing out, so you'll get counter hits with it quite easily. The thing is, it is -14, so that some characters are going to be able to get launches on it. You know, you think about like Bob and other characters like him who have 14 frame punishes from a full crouch. So I think that it is kind of balanced in a way, but I still think that it's really good, and I wouldn't be totally against the fact of getting rid of the mini combo and just getting something smaller. But I do think that it's a very good move that, in practically speaking, I've been able to hit it so many times, and I've seen others hit it so many times. So down back 4, yeah, also you know, pretty good. Now the next move I want to talk about is his 1+2 string. Now this is a 14 frame. His 14 frame punish, and it does 56 damage. That is almost combo damage, man. It's absolutely crazy. And look at that, 56 damage. Now, did you notice that I didn't finish the string on block, but I did it on hit? This move is so easily hit confirmable. I mean, I've set the computer to random guard, and I don't think I'd be able to miss. You know, I wouldn't do the full string. The full string is launch punishable, but you'll never do the full string, man, if it was on block, because you have so much time to confirm it. There we go. Finish the string. Finish the string. Oh, not going to finish the string because that wasn't on hit. So you just have so much time. It's the most hit confirmable thing in Tekken at the moment, even better than Mishima's 112 in my opinion. It's so easy and it does so much damage, and all of those hits initially are safe and they can't be ducked once you're blocking. So, you know, there is no risk to it, but there's huge reward. 1+2 needs to change. Now, moving on, the move which has probably given me the most grief with Leroy recently, it is his hell sweep. Down back 3, 1+2. A very chunky, unseeable low, which many people are calling his hell sweep. Now, the thing about hell sweeps is this. With a character like Kazuya, for example, you know, he has a hell sweep. He's a very hard-hitting character, you know. A lot of people have been calling him like a sort of coin flip character, right? You know, you can go for that chunky forward 4-3, or you can go for the hell sweep. He hasn't got the best pokes. He's not really a poke-heavy character like a Kazumi, for example. Now, imagine Kazumi had a hell sweep. I don't want to give you guys nightmares, but imagine someone who has such strong pokes in that close range also had a hell sweep. It would be absolutely crazy. And Leroy is a very strong, close range, poke heavy character as well. He can brawl with you in that close range. We've already talked about his 1-1 string, which is counter hit, the parry, and the down back 1, which is the high crush, and his really quick lows. Like, you know, he's a very strong poke character. He has no business having something like a hell sweep as well, because generally these sort of lows are only given to characters that are hard hitters and not so much poke characters. But the crazy thing about this sweep is also, I mean, you can't step it. Look at this. If I try to step to both directions, I try to sidestep, sidewalk, it's not going to work. It has such good tracking to both directions that there's not much you can do about it in that close range anyway. At least with Kazuya, right, with his hell sweep, you can sidewalk left and it will beat the hell sweep completely. With Bob, you know, you can actually sidewalk his to the right. With this hell sweep, you know, this standing hell sweep, you know, you can't sidestep it. I just shown you, and I think that's one issue with it, right? The other issue is I think that he has no business having that move anyway. That's the one move with Leroy which I think he shouldn't have. I don't think they're going to get rid of it. Of course, they wouldn't delete any moves, but I'm in agreement with a lot of other people that he just should not have this move. In my opinion, it's super jarring to deal with, and I think it's clear to see why it's too much. Now, another low that I want to talk about is down 2 and down 2-4. Now, down 2 is a 15 frame high crushing low, which is only -12 on block. Does some decent damage as well. So good, you know, if you want to, you know, high crushing lows are always such a good thing, and for it to only be -12 means that there's going to be only a small punish on Leroy for actually getting that blocked. But the crazy thing is, if your opponent tries to actually punish the down 2, he's gonna get counter hit. Check this out. And you know, that's if I try to. If he does a full string, then the full string is only -11, so it's even safer than the down 2. And when you get the low on counter hit, you get a dash up into the down back 2 string. That's 45 damage. You might even be able to get more. I don't know, but I mean, that is crazy with that move, that you get put into a mix-up on block. Some people are not going to punish. You're going to see, guys, when if this move stays the same, you're going to see people block down 2 and not punish it, because they're going to be scared to get hit by the second hit. And I always hate that situation when you're in a mix-up on block, you know. And with a move like a low like that, I mean, it just shouldn't be a thing, in my opinion. I think you should always get like a guaranteed punish on the down 2. But hey, I mean, 45 damage if you try to punish it, fair enough, you know. I don't know. I think that's too much in my opinion. I don't know what you guys think, but yeah, that move's a bit silly. Moving on to the next move. Back 1. Now, back 1 with Leroy is a counter hit 11 frame move, which is only -6 on block. That is absolutely silly, and you guys already know why I picked Feng to demonstrate this move, because he has something very similar. He has his own back 1, which is 10 frames, but it's punishable, you know. And these sort of moves is what I like to call get off me tools. You know, the get off me. You know, you want to release pressure very easily. If someone's being very aggressive to you, get off me. Think about Jack's forward 2 stop sign. Think about Feng's back 1. Now, Leroy himself has one as well, being back 1, which on counter hit will give him 50 damage very easily. You don't even need to do your own combo like Feng does, you know, the dash into the shoulder. You just get back 1, easy 50 damage. And for it to be safe, -6? Why? It should not be -6. This should be unsafe on block, similar to the way that Jax is and similar to the way that Feng's is. It doesn't matter that it's 1 frame slower. You can get so many counter hits with this, and you know, I think it's way way too much. Make this move unsafe. If it's going to be, I mean, just the properties of the move. It's a get off me tool. It's a pressure release tool, and those sort of things should be unsafe the same way that every other characters are. So yeah, you shouldn't be -6 at all. Moving on to a move which has caused a lot of controversy with Leroy. It is the up forward for the orbital heal. Now, the orbital heal is been causing a lot of controversy because it's 21 frames. It's a lot quicker than other people's orbitals. Think about Brian, you know, and Lars and these guys. It's a lot quicker. It's only also -3 on block. So think about it. Put it in perspective. This is the same as Katarina's down forward 1. It's the same on block as Katarina's down forward 1, and -3 is a good number because in Tekken that means you can now sidestep jabs after on block. So if you do up forward 4 and sidestep sidewalk, you can sidestep your opponent's moves as long as you sidestep the right way, and you know your turn isn't necessarily over. You don't have to be put into a mix-up now. Other characters, their orbitals are also safe, but you lose a lot of your frame advantage and you're not able to sidestep really. And also, you know, he has the parry too, which I've seen a lot of people do. You know, the flowcharts, up forward 4 orbital into parry. Now, there's a reason why I've chosen Jack to demonstrate just how stupid this move is. All the stuff we spoke about already makes this orbital the best in the game and really, really good and a bit too much. But check out what this does to big characters like Jack. It hits grounded. It hits some characters grounded, man. It's crazy. I only noticed this when I was playing. I didn't even know. I was like, whoa. I've been hitting characters, even non-big characters, I've been hitting them grounded with this orbital. That should not be a thing. I'm sorry, why does that hit grounded? Wow, this orbital is way too much, and it definitely needs to be fixed in many ways. Now, I also want to talk about his damage as well. You know, we spoke about a lot of his moves, but you know, just in general, his damage. Check out from any launcher, you know, you get an easy combo, and look at this. 77 damage from his down forward to his normal sort of launcher, and every launcher has the same combo as well, where you'll get this down 2-4 and the last hit doing an unscaled 13 damage. It's so much damage as well, man. It's absolutely crazy. And not to mention as well his wall combo, which does so much damage. Now, all of that's guaranteed. Look at that, 81 plus 25. That's over 100 damage, man. That is so much damage for a wall combo. You get that free Hermit forward 4 into the down back 2 string. Now, they got rid of that for Katarina, so you can't get the stomp into the up back 4 anymore. They thought it was way too much, but they gave an even better version to Leroy. Now, granted, it is a little bit harder to do. You know, you have to go into stance, but there are ways to do it. There's players, it just takes a little bit of practice, you know. You can even go as wall carry. You can wall carry down forward 1-4, or even down forward 4, and then get the low wall splats and still get the combo. There is this damage is going to be found by Leroy mains very easily. It just takes a little bit of practice and getting used to, but you've already seen the open damage being the high 70s and the wall combos doing an easy 100 plus. His damage is absolutely insane, man, and they need to tone it down. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is the parry, the back 2 parry from Leroy. Now, it has deceptive active frames, stays active for quite a long time, and man, this is super strong, man. It can be done out of his stance as well. It's something that's caused me a lot of issues playing against Leroy, man. You know, it makes it very hard to approach him sometimes, and it's not the easiest to punish. It's punishable. It's not like Jin's, for example, who I got on screen right now. You know, Jin's parry is pretty hard to punish sometimes, because there are some frames in his parry where he's actually blocking as well, which is something that CVM taught me. But yeah, the parry is super good, man. It gives you a free 40 damage, and man, this parries everything. It parries Fireball. Look at that. If you want to be cheeky, you can even punish Rage Arts with it. That's pretty sick. And it can even parry a rocket launcher. That That is ridiculous. If a parry can parry a rocket launcher, then it is too much. Now look, I don't want to come across as complaining or being whiny or anything like that, but this character is definitely causing issues, man. It's he seems to have everything. I didn't even go through all the moves he has, because I've only went through the moves which I think should be changed in some way, because he has so much more. You know, he's got that back 1+2, which is a 12 frame counter hit mid, which a lot of people are talking about. He's got so many other strings as well that can cause people issues. I didn't even go through the moves that he had in stance, right? But like, he definitely seems to be too well rounded and seems to have an option for literally everything, and some moves are definitely too steroided. Those need to come down for sure, man. And I think also that because he has so many good moves, that even if they nerf him, he's still gonna be super strong. And I think a lot of people are waiting for that too. A lot of people are waiting for him to get nerfed so they can finally commit to the character, knowing what the final version is gonna be like, because right now everyone knows he is way too strong. Either way, guys, that's gonna be it from me, and I will see you for the next video. Peace.